getting our drivers ready for our next race. Hopefully, we'll see a bit of a shakeup. Love to see, as the teams kind of get acclimated to the track, we can see some progression and some changes in the leaderboard.
Absolutely, and I think we know there's a couple of guys. The Cyvis car, one of those can really jump, forward. I think Brandon, if I look at him in the Zotac car, he did what we know he was going to do. I mean, he was thrown in to do this, and he really enthusiastic, and he'll really take a lot of what he learned here in those 15 laps to heart and apply those in the next round. So I think Scott, great job. I mean, he didn't have to fly here from Scotland, which is great, and I think from our point of view, as you say, as a travelled person, I mean, you can operate this out your living room. I'm not sure how many times we might do that, but it's certainly a different way of looking at your business, and it's pretty exciting that we can gradually, through some of the companies we've got who are looking for reach and awareness of the products, that this can actually do that, and people in those companies can actually be part of delivering that message. So yeah, let's roll on the next 15 laps and look forward to it.
Simon's ready. I think we've got Simon getting these guys ready again for what's next. So while they're getting ready, just you and I can chat a little bit more about, kind of as you apply the learnings. What do you think is the biggest thing that these guys will apply in the next race? Is it the braking? Is it the turns? What are some of the things that these guys should be mindful of?
Yeah, I think the ability to have confidence. They'll have learned huge confidence. What they find, and what you find in any of these sorts, you can overstep the limit extremely easily, and therefore you make mistakes, and the mistakes cost you. So the first thing is the discipline, and that I think in any job is you can be, and I'm saying a lot of people today, you can be extremely book clever, but can you apply what you've learned? This is now applying what you learn. But we've got a group, certainly probably 5 or 6 people here, that they're learning they're applying what they just learned in a pretty brutal learning curve. Yeah, I can drive a car. Yeah, I can do this. I go, I play in the game. I'm on my own. I don't do anything. Now they're up against something, and you often find a lot of real drivers are great in testing, and you can put them out there. You put them out in a real car, they think they're going to win. They're lucky to finish, and so some of that is the attitude. Let's put it that way. So how do we apply it? Now we've got to say what is the big thing we've learned here? You slide off, you lose a lot of ground, and you can't regain that very quickly. You've got to build up, and that might take you a lap. But what have you done? You've lost a huge amount of ground on the car in front of you. I think the two guys at the front, I expected that. We all expected that. I think we have a pro racer, very experienced on track, and we have a top gamer engineer. Both of them were able to make mistakes and recover, and that is exactly what you do. You put the mistake behind you and you move on very quickly. And that again is what we're trying to teach here in all disciplines of what we're doing. Don't harbor on the things in the past. Move forward quickly.
Gotta have that short memory. Gotta learn and forget.
Yeah, exactly. And learn and forget at the moment, but then be able to put that into practice. So as you said earlier, Carlos, what are they going to do? Let's hope in the next one we're going to see a couple of people much closer in the next 15 laps, much closer to the two at the front. They've learned the mistakes. They've been applying those mistakes in a better way. And actually we're going to end up with much closer groups of competitiveness down the field at the same time. A couple of the people at the back who didn't finish for whatever reasons, maybe a little bit of a mechanical issue. We do see occasionally that, as I said, we may have somebody here that's got a steering wheel bolted to the steering wheel, bolted to the table. You can clamp it to your table. So maybe the table moved. It's not the same as sitting in a full simulation. So they're going to go away and fix that problem, and they're going to come back stronger. So we're going to learn all that. So really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think in checking in with our racers, looks like they are getting ready to head out back out there. Just for anyone who's just tuned in, want to go through some of the teams again. We've got the Dawson Racing team that's going to be in the red Transformer car. We've got the STEM Racing team in the yellow STEM car. The Audrain Racing team will be in the green Audrain car. Not to be confused with the Vivis team, which is in the lime green car. So a little difference there. We've got the Zotac team in the matte black car. The American team will be in the American Bourbon Cass Brown car. Cass Brown, that really stands out. Then we've got the black and gold team in the black and gold race car. And lastly, we have the Dawson Pro-Am racing team in the white Transformer car. So these guys are all getting ready to head back out there. We've got the drivers. Here we go. Getting ready to start things off. Clean slate here, right, Ian? These guys are.
Yeah, this is good. They've got a good start here. You know, you start to see everybody together. You start to see, I think, a few people who didn't make a good start made a much better start. You know, they that's intimidating. You know, you've got to imagine if you're not in one of these cars, whether you're in real or virtual, you suddenly got all these people around you. I mean, if you just look at the track, this was not there in the first session. You've got all but one car, everybody nose to tail. And this is exactly what we wanted to see. So this is a big encouragement.
Absolutely. We've got a tight pack here coming around the second turn. This is
Yeah, I mean it's great. We got black and gold up there. They mixed it up. They made a fantastic start.
oh man,
Probably didn't do it. Hey, now and now we're starting to see what what the pressure does. You know, there's a little spin there, a little bit of bumping here. Look, everybody's trying to jostle for position. These are the things we've got to now probably experience in this second race. Now, everybody's got confidence, right? So we've got to get the confidence controlled and put it more into application. But we've got a lot of close cars here, which is good.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that everyone's starting to apply those learnings a little bit more comfortable with the track, being more conscious about making sure that they're not exposing the car to any of the elements. Another turn, another car taking a turn out there.
Yeah, so this is interesting. I mean, so as a umpire, so we got Pablo Gonzalez in the other Transformer car. So you got the two red cars with Ben at the front. Pablo's one of the company technicians, so it gives you an idea of, people are looking for positions. When they're coming into hands-on mechanical work in race teams, and the ability to actually see what you in real time. And we've got to remember some of these cars we actually own in real, and it's fantastic to see them in virtual. And the pair of them are running together here, so we got to see how this works out. In a real team, two team cars racing against each other, sometimes not the greatest thing. The warning is don't take each other out. Respect each other's position as a team. So, let's see what pans out here.
Oh, we got somebody just passed them. We got the STEM car
your
here.
drain cars well up there. Yeah, the STEM cars really, in a good pushing position here. We obviously got a few people lost a bit of position on the first corner. We're interested to see those. So a couple of the quicker drivers, more experienced, will work their way back up through the field now. But we've still got a pretty nice tight bunch going on back from, second down to eighth.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's taking these turns a little bit more educated. They seem to know how to apply more of the brake and not lose control.
And I think that's which is well, yeah, which is great for everybody watching, because the people who are looking to learn or come in and do this, they start to learn. I mean, these guys are showing them the hard way. They're showing them, and we're all going to criticize a couple of them, and that's always pretty hard. But you get that in education. I think it's when you run a teams and you're maybe the guy that makes the call. Everybody doesn't agree with it, so you've got to be prepared for a little bit of that pressure. Um, but that's a life lesson, isn't it? You only learn it through experience. We're starting to see that. I think one of the transformer cars is really got itself well out in front here. It's avoid the mayhem that went on the end of that first corner. As I say, we're going to have a few pretty experienced, competent drivers work their way through that group now, get their way back into position. So yeah, different demographics. It's a different group. We see a completely different format, which is interesting. And it's here's the learning part of it.
Definitely, we've seen the Audrain car keeping that third position pretty strong. We've got still looks like we've got a nice tight pack amongst the middle of everything. So smoother turns though. I can see that everyone's staying in the line and really really being mindful of each turn.
No, absolutely. And I think now they've freed up, as I say, what we're starting to see now is, the white transformer car is starting to, it's got itself a bit free of everything. And, that's the pro. So he should work his way through carefully through the cars, make passing maneuvers very good. He's coming up behind the stem car here. He's holding his pace. He's not doing anything stupid. He's giving the car, a little bit of room, so he's not blocking him out. This will be interesting how he sort of gets by. I think it's Scott probably in that car. You see he's having a look there down the outside, so he's getting pretty close now. You got to remember some of these cars slipstream each other. And we now got the stem car and the stem car's gone a little bit wide, so that'll give the Zotac car a little bit of time to get up in behind it. So we're coming up the hill now.
Yeah, that hill. As I mentioned before, you get a bit of confidence going up it, but when you hit the top, you've gotta brake.
And a lot of the speed up that hill, you can imagine, is getting out of that last turn really well, not losing speed. It's all about the ability to carry the pace up the hill into the top. And because the first corner at the top of the hill on the right hand is a fast corner, you need to carry quite a bit of speed through that. I think we're seeing a good battle here between the Cybiz car, running a lot better now. I think that they've sort of got themselves in a good position now after that first really learning curve of the first section. We're still seeing a few lockups. We're going to see probably that white transformer car maybe struggle a little bit in the later part of the race because some tire damage. But we'll see. We got a much more bunched field. The lead two guys have got themselves well clear. But everybody's still on track.
Taking the turns in a bunch, how you apply, the brake, where do you where do you start to hit and accelerate coming out of the turn, while being mindful of your peripherals.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we've still got 12 cars running, on track, which, what we didn't have early on in the first part. So that's really good. We saw a little bit of a pass there. Again, awareness of where the car behind you is and aware of where the car in front of you is very, very important in this sort of racing. You can't assume that person's going to give you space. Very often the racing rule is If you're in the front, it's up to the person behind you to find the gap. Uh, Sometimes, though, in respect, later on, you know a car's going to come and lap you. So you're not in contention for a position. So in respect, you'll move over. You'll move offline and allow that car to go through. And likewise, then you want to respect the car that's behind it as closely as you can to allow not to impede that. Nobody wants to find that you're the guy that wrecked the race position, because you didn't move over. So, this is a pressure game. This is a pressure business.
And everything you just said was literally what the white transformer car was doing as it took position over the black transformer car or the Zotac car. Excuse me.
Exactly. And again, that's a Morix driver. He's aware, he's waiting. He's not just trying to charge down the inside or the outside, compromise the other person, risk that person not seeing him in his mirrors and, having contact. Um, these are huge lessons that we're starting here to develop in the public eye, and I think everybody in a car here has probably got a follower. Whether it's one person or 100 people, they'll have all been online to say, hey, I'm in a race on Sunday. You got to watch me, and that in itself puts huge pressure on you, and it's a bit like taking an exam and saying to everybody, hey, you can watch what I'm writing down. Let's all come and have a look at it.
Yeah,
It's something people haven't experienced, and I think this is what's really cool about all this now.
no, I agree. I think having this platform and being able to have others watch and learn from you, is quite exciting. Uh, puts tremendous pressure, but I think over time you'll see these drivers really adapt and build confidence as our championship cup continues.
Yeah, and I think people should realize that after these events are over, we'll be having information chats with all the drivers, and we'll discuss how they could do better and what they should be looking at. And this is again a service which a lot of people don't have. It's something that will integrate into this platform that we're doing as more and more people get involved. They can learn what they should have done better, what they struggled with, how did they get coaching. And this is removing the technology from the car a little bit. It's not saying, well, you should have this type of ride height, you should have this type of aerodynamic package, you should have this. This is about getting the drivers comfortable with what they've got before they start worrying about the technicalities of it. It's a bit like worrying about which seat am I sitting in when I get on an aeroplane. You really need to worry about this. The airplane's got two engines. You know, so look at it that way.
Absolutely, we're seeing some shift in position here as uh, a few cars are overlapping. We've got our first did not finish, so good to see that nearly halfway through the race we've got a good solid uh, healthy competition here.
Absolutely. I think as I say, anybody looking at it, you see a huge difference from the first event to the second events, and that's exactly what you expect. And this will just continue. And as we get this first group who registered for the whole series really looking pretty good, we start to increase the grid positioning, and we start to talk to new companies that want to come in. We start to discuss why they're doing it, and we have different themes as it moves along. So the first one is the education platform. And so we've spent a lot of time here talking about education, and that is really key to the philosophy of what everybody that's signed up to do this is all about.
Absolutely, I think education is evolving right in front of us as we speak. New tools, new platforms to really learn and acquire new skill sets, and that's a beautiful thing about esports is that it's really bringing that opportunity for people uh, to learn, to watch, to measure, and take that back to somewhere where they may not be exposed to this.
Absolutely, and I think again, as I said, I mean, as we monitor things to look at the future, I mean, here the light green cars, which are the Cyvis cars, are really again running much better. They're running as a group. Their lines look really good. They learned a lot in the last part of the package. And when you look at the overview of where the cars are on the track, we've got some really nice groups here where people are really running with each other, and therefore they're learning from each other, and that's good. It's no good just running on your own. You have to gain those experiences about who can brake later than me, where does late braking help you in the corner. Sometimes people go in the corner too quick. When they come out, they're very slow, and that's just patience. Sometimes you've got to go in a little bit slower, come out a little bit quicker. And you asked me about, this is a high speed track. Exiting corners with speed is very important. And two key areas here are getting up the hill very quick as you possibly can. And you've got another long straight on the back, which is exactly the same characteristics. You need to be managed into the corner and exit the corner really well, so the top speed of the car is maintained. Otherwise, somebody's just going to pass you down the straight, and that's the easy place to do it.
That's that's awesome. I mean, we've actually seen that quite a few times here, where people have taken maximize the opportunity around um, the turns, and we've seen some shift in positioning. So coming up right here on the halfway mark, right? We're 8 out of 15 laps completed. We've got, if I'm correct here, we've got 11 cars still on the track. So as we said, it's all about learning. These drivers are applying their learnings from the first race into the second race. A lot less damage to the cars. Seen some really good performance here.
No, it is, as you say, Carlos. I mean, this is exactly what we talked about before we even saw the first race. It's what we expected to materialize in this. And it's encouraging that we are seeing that. It's the same as if you go to a race school. I mean, they don't want you to break a lap record at the beginning, where a lot of people think they can, and they spend time spinning into the gravel trap, and they do just managing their expectation a little bit. Sometimes people get under a lot of pressure because they want to prove they can do well. Well, the only person you generally disappoint is yourself. So you have to manage those skills, and the competent race drivers and any athlete, of course, they're confident. They're extremely confident people. It can borderline on arrogance occasionally, but you have to look at it. I mean, they're putting themselves in a dangerous place a lot of times. They have to have full confidence in their ability and the car's ability, and the other person they're racing. And that goes back to this thing I go on about early on, and that's trust. Can I trust the person I'm racing against, that they're not going to really damage me? They can get close to me and say, you know what, I'm here and I'm not going to get past easy, but I'm not going to take you off the track. And that's what we're starting to understand a little bit here. I mean, this is a great view, I think, from overhead here, coming up the hill. It sort of gives you an indication of how quick these cars are going in real life. And there we just passed the start-finish line, and we're heading into the braking zones. You start to see numbers on the side of the track. So the driver starts to go on the brakes. He's just settling the car. This is a very quick corner. And you see they run a little bit wide, but that's the thing. That's confidence. That's tire grip.
Love it, absolutely. And that's coming into that turn, you've got to have the confidence to be able to apply knowledge and instinct all kind of in a balanced way.
And I think Scott is in the steam car. I mean, you see a number of times under braking, you see the wheels lock up. That's just getting a feel. That's understanding a really good feel for the how the brake pedal reacts to how you slow the car down. And he will get better and better as he doesn't slow the car too much going into the corners, and that'll come with confidence and understanding of the car. So these are some great things that we're watching, and if we overview each of them afterwards, in a tech talk and a data talk, we'll be able to look at where each individual can do a better job of managing the car.
Awesome. And you can see that based off the first race, we have the current standings on the right. So we're seeing, overall performance in the second race has really shifted a bit. We're seeing, those, as we continue to say, we've seen some learnings being applied. Ben continues to hold the lead, but we know that he's got a bit of experience under his belt. So hopefully we can see some of these other guys catch up to him over this race and the next.
Yeah, and again, I think we try to see. I mean, if you looked at any of the esports that are around today with Formula One, IndyCar, um, the Le Mans series, IMSA's program that has been exceptional. That a lot of the real drivers are shocked by the performance of a sim racer. But again, what you also see is that once everybody gets used to it, that actually the two disciplines are very close to each other, and this is what we're trying to find here. We're trying to bring up. I think as we see there with the Zotac car running in third. I think with Brandon in it. I mean, he's doing a solid run now. He's really getting to grips with what he's doing, and the guys charging up here, their progress will be much quicker than the quick guys. They'll learn rapidly here how they get themselves up close, and what you find out of this is we're going to find a couple of real good sim racers who, the ultimate prize here, of course, down the road is not just the ability to drive a car, it's the ability to engineer a car, it's the ability to manage your world in motorsport, and that out of this, we're going to have a real good result, and we're going to find companies that see huge value here in team playing.
No, I agree. I think seeing how everyone's evolving real time. We as we mentioned already, there's a lot more cars still on the track. Going in 3/4 of the race now, uh, that are still in competition, and the pack is still at it. So I love it. I love what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I mean, you see in the black and gold car here that I think it had a mechanical issue in the first game. It's really pushing on quite hard now. It's starting to get itself in a position, and I think that's what we gradually want to see. The American branded car will, those guys will be on a huge learning curve here, and it's hard because you sort of beat yourself up a little bit. And interesting, just as a personal note, I'm a terrible gamer. I think age does it. You get nauseous in the thing. So you have to give it. It's a young guy's sport. Although we know we're going to get a couple of guys who are going to come in there over 60. They're great, and I think they stood back and they've watched what's going on here, and they're not going to embarrass themselves, and we're going to see that. We're going to see people say, "Hey, I can get in there and do this." So let's bring those people on, and we know we've got a couple of young ladies just sitting in the wings here, and that's really welcome.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think just the barriers that are coming down from esports and in racing. It's opening up to different demographics, different people in walks of life, and that's a beautiful thing about it. It's about you know democratizing it in a way that it gives everyone an opportunity to be able to enter and simulate this and eventually work their way into learning about it and getting to a real car.
No, I think you summed it up, Carlos. I mean, again, we looked at this. We've looked at this for a hard time. We haven't just dreamt this thing up, since the pandemic came in. I mean, this is something we were passionately believed in over 2 years ago when we originally contacted Mainline to look at this. And I think certainly a lot of people perhaps thought, well, where's all the races going to go? Well, there's lots of platforms that can happen in, and I think hopefully the real guys will get back into real cars, and that'll start to regroup. And esports is showcasing that it's a huge sport. Whether it's in motor racing or it's in other disciplines, it's an extremely valuable tool for people to engage in sports, and sports are a great thing, which, I think in today's where everybody's locked down and they can't get out, they can actually do this, and that is really encouraging.
No, I agree. I think over time we're just going to see this just evolve, and this is going to bring more attention and more interest into the real races because people, you know, uh, their first contact will be with a Forza, an Xbox, and from there they learn about it. They gain their passion from it. From there, they come and they see the Transformer car at an IMSA race, and then they're just blown away.
No, I agree, and I mean, as I've said in the past, there's so many different levels of simulation today, and what's happened in a lot of we know through Microsoft and Forza and some of the other platforms that the huge purchasing requirement now for simulators worldwide. And what this does is, as I say, it brings, if you, let's say you got 4 kids at home, and somebody says, "Hey, I need a simulator." Well, you can't all drive the same simulator. Whereas a family can go and buy Forza 7 simulator platforms, and the whole family can do this. And that is why we chose this platform. And this has been really encouraging. I think the graphics are superb. I think the way this is laid out, I mean, we'll all be able to see we can do a couple of improvements after this. But what's really good is, in our facility, we have the ability in Dawson Racing to put real transfer data back to somebody who's interested to understand how you do changes on a car and how you manage what you're doing. And this is a big area for us that is ongoing.
Absolutely. I think in talking about the data, it's super important to bring that real life aspect into the game, giving someone the ability to bring in the elements and some of those variables that just make it real. You can see here coming in lap 13, things are getting teams are starting to wrap up here. Just a few more
We've got
laps.
2 laps to go now. So it's as I say, it's been I think a lot of this race was sorted out in the first corner, mayhem that we saw happen, which is, definitely a number of people learning from the first race. So they've learned that, so they can put that memory bank back. Right, what do I got to do? So that I'm really confident that race 3 here will see, another step forward of a lot of people, and a lot of things have been logged here about how you actually change this. So we've got the encouraging bit. We've got pretty well everybody other than one failure all running on the track. There's some really close groups here that you don't see all of them all the time, but we see some good shots here, nice racing lines. How you can run when you're in a good position. It's good.
Absolutely. And just looking at the overlay of the track, you can see that everyone's got someone who's trying to edge them out for a position. So this race isn't done for many, right? We've got another lap and a half, um, and everyone's in it. Everyone's trying to get better position.
I think what we've seen, I mean, you've got what we call storytelling, and we talk to this often with Hasbro. I mean, about a toy line or a mess. How do you put a message across? As somebody can relay an experience, and they've got an expectation to work to, and as we gradually build all of these various things with the different companies, and we understand how that particular brand gets involved in what it's doing as a business and how it brings personnel on. And each one of these companies in here that we're talking about today all have a very big link to how families function. And, that for us is the first message.
No, I agree. I think Forza's done a great job of bringing this all together, and in fact, you said, it allows for the whole family to get involved. So as we see, we're coming up on the last lap here. Ben is still in the lead, but we've got some healthy competition out there. So I'm excited to see how this all shakes out.
It's definitely closed up. I mean, as we see, everybody's found a position. They're running at a pace, and I mean, I'm looking at some of the lap times. I mean, you got to remember some of these guys are settled down now. They're not. There's 2 seconds. That's all. 2 to 3 seconds maximum between maybe the top 8 cars. It's just the race was decided effectively in the mayhem on the first corner, and that's what everybody learns here. You've got to get yourself through and avoid incidents. Once you've done that, you can then settle into a position of how I manage my performance. And that's this is encouraging now. I think we've got everybody's got a different view of this. It's not so much us looking at it. I think everybody in the cockpits of these cars now has a different view to how they manage the next event of 15 laps.
Definitely. And we still got a lot of cars out there, so it'll be good to see all of them finish and score some points on the tournament leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
to
like
say
Ben.
that, I mean, you've got to realize that everybody, we're all these cars score points. So, I mean, this first group of 14 cars that, effectively, I know we lost a couple, they'll be in the next round. They're all scoring points to get a position at the end of the 5th week of the 4-week tournaments. And so when people look at the regulations of how this works and it starts to unravel, they start to understand how they can be successful in this. And it isn't all about the first event. It's how you build this over a number of events.
Absolutely. We just had the Transformer car cross the finish line. So we've got a few more that are out there looking to finish up on their last lap. Got just looks like 2 cars that are a lap or 2 behind. So again, competition is healthy, and great to see these racers out here. These drivers finish the race. Here we go. We've got it's like the Zotac car just crossed the finish line.
No, I think with Zotac, I mean, the fact that I think we've got three sims running with a Zotac gaming programs which we've been working with. I mean, absolutely fantastic equipment, and hopefully, as people get more familiar with this and more used to it, the combination of working with our partners on this will, give people a lot of scope for the future when they really want to get more technical and start to use some of the attributes of STEM in how this progresses.
Absolutely, and I can speak to it. I've done the VR racing sim using the Zotac PC that you have in your facility, and seeing the ability to race the sim in a virtual 3D environment using virtual reality has been tremendous.
Well, just to
Life-changing.
explain to everybody, we needed it. We really needed to keep you in the commentary box, Carla. You were just so competitive when you were doing this. It would have been an unfair advantage, So, but no, great job, and I think that's what's good about this. Everybody, this is about anybody being able to come on and do this.
No, I agree. I'm seeing, just
So we got the side viz coming up. I think crossing the line now. That's good.
There we go. Got just a few more cars out there wrapping it up. Just like got the finishing up. We got 2 more laps left, right?
So I think we've, yeah.
Such an awesome car, though. I think one thing that I can speak for those that are tuning in and watching this, if you haven't seen an LMP3 in real life, I've had the pleasure of seeing the Transformer car, and it is just one impressive, beautiful machine. Uh, Seeing the Transformer car in real person is just amazing.
I think it's good. The nice thing is with this platform for people who are looking at it is that, you know, there's multiple platforms of cars that we can introduce to this as well, which is great. So it can fit just about anybody's menu. And the visuals and display area of the size of a prototype car are great for companies. They give a really strong name placement, and that's always difficult in any reality or any esports platform. So yeah, so really pleased with the coverage so far and the progress made for the second race. Great.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's great to see the drivers, as we've mentioned, take their first race experience, apply the learnings, complete the race, and shake up the leaderboard. That's what we need. We need healthy competition, and most importantly, we've got one more race here. So uh, hopefully, as we wrap this up from start to finish, we'll see things mix up. Um, Kind of diving into that, what were some of the things that stood out to you in the second race?
No, I think, as I said, on the way through it, I think the second race is what we all said we hoped we'd expect. I mean, one of the platforms that we'd all discussed internally, Simon and Barbara and myself and the team, were the ability to try and watch progress and the fact that it wouldn't be 16 or 30 or whatever cars all crammed together, bumping into each other. This was about giving people space to understand the craft, and I think that for me is the first standout ability. The ability for what we'd expect is a professional driver and a fully versed engineer, data engineer, and gamer being able to run together on a track is exactly what you'd expect in any platform. The progress with two or three people, second, third, fourth place down, you start to see the natural ability of people who are just getting used to this platform, and they've come through. So I think progression, patience, and understanding. They're all the things you're looking for. No aggressive driving. No good comment when we just watch one car spin, but it just shows you that, and I think a lot of people will be shocked at the ability of sometimes pushing too hard on the limit. And a lot of what you just saw there is going off the track itself onto the curbing. That curbing, these lines you start to see, are very slippery. So those are things you have to avoid as a driver.
How do you manage that traction? How do you is it applying more the right amount of speed coming into the turn? Is it knowing kind of the right time to brake? What would you say is the most critical piece of that turn?
When a driver's pushing and he realizes he's actually going to go off, there's some areas which are, there's a lot of grip there. The driver works this out. Painted areas where you see, for instance, there where there's a lot of paint on the paint is slippery, and so if the driver knows he's going to get on and he's got a lot of throttle on, he won't apply a lot more. He will be very cautious on trying to navigate over that surface without lifting off, so the car loses grip. It's just maintaining the throttle position they have and exiting the corner. That's managing the throttle, and that is a learning curve. It's difficult to teach that. You can explain it, but you actually have to learn it in real life, and that's really, I think, what everybody will be taking away from this. The people that have not been on this before, it can be frustrating early on, but then you've got to accept it as a skill that needs to be learned.
Absolutely. I think we've seen some cars turn around, but most importantly, they've all kept to it and kept going. Right, as we said, beginning of the race, it's about acknowledging the mistake, learning from it, and moving on. So
No,
I think
and you've absolutely got it there. That it is not harboring the problem. Not at racetracks like here, I think we've got 20 corners or something. If you make a mistake in one corner, don't carry that mental mistake into the next corner. Put it behind you and move on. It is the same with a lot of sports, golfing, tennis, any ball games. Whatever you made a mistake in that one shot, forget it. Move to the next one. And that's what you've got to deal with here. And I think that will have been what everybody's going to take away from this, which is great.
definitely, yeah, that was really exciting. Shout out to our drivers that were able to to optimize their performance in that last race. We're excited about our next race. For those that have been tuning in, thank you for checking us out. We're coming up on our next break, so we'll be right back with our third race.
Closers Coffee is an exciting new web series that features business leaders, sports professionals, and entrepreneurs. Don't miss our next episode featuring the founder of Arch Rival. Make sure to follow us at Closers Coffee HQ.
Hi, Sydney here, one of the founders of Viva CBD. We produce and manufacture some of the most consistent, high-potency, compliant CBD products on the market today. We believe in the proper education of CBD products within our industry. If you're interested in purchasing Viva CBD products, private labeling your own CBD brand, or buying white-labeled CBD products, please visit us at our website at vivascbd.com. That's VIVIS CBD.com. Have a great day.
I say it now. Real love, now I'll break through to show to you that I'm more good than I am bad. I'll work it out, I'll work it out. And I'll be somewhere that you need me, and I'll be holding my breath, waiting for you to show.
I don't wanna see you while you fall apart. Even though you told me to get back your heart, I still spin inside your orbit. Yeah. You say that I should probably start to walk away. I'm hoping that you stop and make me have to stay, 'cause I'm floating in your orbit. Yeah, I'm stuck in your space. Just my luck.
All right, and so we're back. We just wrapped up our second race. A lot more exciting, a lot more to come. Ian, just give us a quick recap. What'd you see out there? What'd you think? And what do you expect going into this third race?
Well, as we said, I mean, we were saying earlier, Carlos, just say being repetitive. I mean,